where I'm going to be. Okay. There we go. Hi everybody. How's it going? I'm gonna go get my sandwich. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Yeah, I forgot my sandwich. I'm having a picnic today. Let's see. See, I got this cool picnic basket. Comes with this zipper thing. It's holding my ramen pasta salad. Thank you. I cooked it in an air fryer. See? And then this is my cat Archie. No, Archie, you can't have my sandwich. If you want the orange, I guess you can have the orange. Gonna have to move yours over here. That's all right, Archie. Hi, how are you? No. Archie. Mm. Oh, come on. At least one of them fell right there. Mm. This is a good sandwich. I made it in the air fryer. It's got chicken, cheese, coleslaw sauce, and I put it in the air fryer for 5 minutes, and then it tells you to flip it. It'll tell you to flip your food over. Mm. Mm. 20% don't like picnics. Archie, 20% of people don't like picnics. Is it 'cause the bugs? Do you think people don't like picnics 'cause bugs or something? Mm-hmm. I do too. Picnics are wonderful, man. Get to be outside. Just enjoy the sunshine. Am I a woke liberal? No. What's I mean, if you're liberal, that's fine. I'm friends with all different types of people. But why? Because I like picnics? Oh, is he talking to you? I don't know who he's talking to. That was just a rant. Oh, ask me anything. Sorry. Thank you. I'm not woke, and I'm not really a liberal. I'm more of a conservative, mid, not extreme, not mid, not just kind of in the middle. Oh, okay. I mean, anyone can answer. I still don't Oh, okay. I put ask me anything about my political beliefs. Hey, come back here, Archie. Come back here. Yeah, so am I. So's Archie. But Archie can't read the Constitution, so he speaks his own language. Archie speaks Catanese. I really don't think so, but I don't really, I mean, that's an interesting question. I didn't think actually someone would ask me that. I feel like, you know, it's the same thing with like how do you put it? I mean, how you put it? Those when politicians go off of stocks or something, you know, like because they're in the market already and they know what's gonna be high or low, or they have somewhat of a good guess. Um, I feel like they have an advantage. Insider trading. Thank you. Um, you know, if somebody designs it and they're not a part of it, that's one thing. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. Cause like people, is it should politicians be allowed to make meme coins? Like, are meme coins like bitcoins, where like you get like real money? Because like if they made their own bitcoin, then we would have a really big. Then I oh, okay, so they are like bitcoins. I kind of would have an issue with it because it's like, isn't it like stock stuff or whatever? Where they have like insider knowledge. It's inherently speculative. Kind of, yeah. I don't know. If I was a politician, I wouldn't mess with that stuff just because of the speculative aspect of it. And like just by people will think that you're in the know on something, or because there are people that blindly follow some people, that they will just blindly follow this person. Like that movie Wall Street, where they just like where a bunch of people lost like a ton of money. Correct? I believe so. I don't know. But I mean, you know, other people don't have an issue with it, and that's all right. I mean, that's why this is a good place to be. That's why America's a good place to be. Now, are you talking about with the tariff thing that's going on? I I hope that it goes good, because here's the thing. We pay way more for other countries. Like we, from what I understand is that other countries won't take in our products but we take in the most products from other countries. Okay, so that's a loaded question, the transgender. I'll tell you why. I have issues with, I'm gonna answer Space Frog's answer first, and then I'll get back to you on that one. Sorry, I just completely... But anyway, I don't have an issue with people until they decide that they want to get into women's sports. And then you have like people who are very entitled, wanting to enter women's restrooms. Like people like Blair White and the people who you wouldn't be able to tell were men, or biological men. I don't have an issue with them. But like when you also have the non-binary people who don't try to look like they're a certain gender. Like I feel like, you know, the transgenderism has gotten a little out of hand. I personally don't hate people. I just wish that people would do their own business and do their own stuff. It's not really, I don't hate people, but I also don't think they should just, you know, there's women, or like, if a woman wouldn't do this, but if a woman went into a man's space, don't you think men should have an issue with that? It's a men's only space. I mean, maybe, but like, as to the Walmart thing, maybe. I just don't like that people take advantage of America. You're Canadian? Cool. You're not... Oh, whatever. What I mean by... Like, there are countries that don't allow, like, our products to go to their state, their place. Not state, sorry. Their countries. Because they're made here. Like, there's... It's made in America. And that's not always the case. Like, for example, Crayola, I know this is probably a crappy example, but Crayola crayons is, you too, sir. I mean, or whoever you are. I think that, like, if, like, you can, wouldn't you want to buy, like, I mean, and particularly what I mean by, like, made in America, like, your local mom and pop shop. Wouldn't you want to, if you could buy from from your mom and pop shop, or from, like, a big conglomerate like Walmart, wouldn't you want to buy from the mom and pop shop? Like, I work at Lake Area Industries. We across the street, we have a mom and pop store as known as Ferris's, and some of the products there they make by hand. Like they make their pies and they make their muffins or and other things. Although, you know, I will admit $17 is a little steep for a pie. I used to pay the 12 bucks for the pie, so because the 12 bucks, that pie, you got a whole pie for 12 bucks. And it was a handmade pie. It was delicious. Now, but how do you know that though? How do you know that he's not going to do that? How do you know he's not going to do that though? I mean, you got if people want us, if you people want conservatives to have given Biden a chance, wouldn't you give him a chance? So, okay, can I ask a question then? How do you know that? Are you somebody on the inside? You're talking like you're somebody on the inside. But is this his first term in this is his first year in office? Like this is barely his 100 days. For the Congress website. All right, I'll look into that. Hi. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not rich. I actually got that picnic basket as a Christmas gift. Uh, mm. Have some more of my pasta or my ramen. It's alright. Hi. That is true that Americans pay the price when they go up. I like cheeseburgers better than hamburgers. What's a Big Bat? Is that a cheeseburger or something? Mm. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I remember watching I know this literally has nothing to do with politics, but Public Freakouts Unleashed, I like watching him. Hatching ASF. Well, that's your opinion. Watch Cold Ones. Hi, how are you? Hmm. Hmm. And somebody got arrested for yelling at a drive-through person about a Big Back. You know, I don't really eat out that much because it's expensive. I look like a chicken. I was eating ramen pasta salad. Well, I'd rather look like a cat than a chicken. I have cats. I'm gonna go bring them out. Close. Hi, everybody. Archie's not in it. He's a cat. Archie? You can't eat Archie. He's a cat. And then I'm gonna paint on this. Archie. Hey. You're good boy, Archie. Red wine, no, I don't got. You know, I've tried listening to music on live streams, and they'll, it ends up getting copyright struck. They end up like, I can't sing along to Taylor Swift. I can't, you know, because the music will, make it copyright struck. Yeah, it does. Did you hear about that transgender athlete's mom that made a freaking fool out of herself? She went on camera and she's like, was like talking down to the athletes. She was telling them, don't wear certain shirts now because you wouldn't want to get in trouble. Well, I don't really think that all of it's distraction. I do think that some of it is distraction, but I think that like the transgender issue shouldn't have ever actually happened because like well, what gender are you? Well, see, and I'm not trying to be sexist or anything, but of course it wouldn't bother you because it doesn't affect men. It doesn't affect men more. It affects women because trans men don't go into male sports as often as trans women do. It doesn't affect you as much. Do you have a daughter? Do you are you, you know, like, it would affect you more if you actually had a daughter who had to compete against somebody like that. No, that makes sense. It's just like, you know, at the same time, like, there are concerns out there. I'm just gonna draw this window after the paint's done drying. Could paint the window on, but I don't got a thin brush. It became more of an issue like in 2021, actually. And it's only because Biden signed an executive order that allows these people to be in women's sports. If Biden didn't sign that executive order, it probably wouldn't happen as much. And I'm not trying to sound harsh or anything. I understand that everyone's got lives and stuff. But, like, I always just feel like there are some causes that, you know, people should fight for because, not because it affects them, but because it's better for society. Like, I'm not an athlete, so it doesn't affect me personally, but I just don't think that it's right that there's athletes that gotta compete against biological men. I'll wait for the purple paint to dry and then I'll wipe this off and work with marker on the other side. You know, that's the thing that, like, okay, so, like, they had a transgender, they did a transgender women's, swimming thing, like, in, like, the, 2022, 2021, whenever all this Riley Gaines stuff was happening, and, 0 people competed in it. Hi. So, they just want to compete against women. And I just don't see how that's right. That's not fair to the women competing in the sport. I mean, I like subscribers, but, like, I don't know what that means, but I do need subscribes. I don't buy subscribers. I don't buy people. Well, it's not manufactured turmoil, man. Like, it's not manufactured turmoil. Real people are being affected by this. Like, these aren't just like random, they aren't paid actors, they aren't people. These are real people, man, that are being affected by this. Like, it's easy for you to say because it's not manufactured. Like, would you want to be forced to compete with somebody who you know you'll lose against all the time? That's neat that you're also a YouTuber. Cool. Like, for example, there was a fencer just a few weeks ago who realized she was fencing against a trans woman. She didn't want to do that. She didn't feel safe. So she didn't do it. That was a real person. Like, and then there's been so many. There was another example where there was two boxers. There was a trans woman boxer and a woman boxer, and the trans woman boxer cracked the fucking skull off that the trans woman boxer literally bashed this person's head in. There was outrage, but it was just coming from one side. There was outrage. I've been talking about this since my YouTube channel has been open. Thank you. I mean, like, you don't have to be an a-hole to the people who you don't agree with. I don't, like, for example, like, you know, if you're respectful to me and I work with you or I'm around you, I will, and you're not, you know, you don't just assume I know your gender. I will call you by the gender you want to be called by. There's like, but like, you know, it's not like, no. I understand that they may not be doing that but at the same time, it's not that they're doing it to have the upper advantage, it's just that they do. They simply do. Doing great. How are you? Like, they could have the most purest, and they could just be trying to compete in a sport, but, the fact is that they still have that upper advantage. Yeah, I talk about that. If you look on my channel, I talk about how I don't like the pronouns and this stuff like that. I've been doing this since like the early 2020s. I don't agree with, well, I mean, if I talk to people, like, talking to people is different than, like, what you talk about them online. There's a reason why I'm talking about somebody online. Like, for example, Dylan Mulvaney is a trans woman, and this person believes that they can be a mom one day. And I'm just like, well, if he can be a mom, can I be a billionaire? Is that how this works? I mean, is this how this works, people? At some point, and I think the issue also, when people are talking about the outrage or whatever, people weren't being that delulu, saying that they can be a mom one day. People were just like, I know I'm a biological, I know I'm not the sex, that I know I'm not this sex. I'm a biological whatever. But I'm not trying, you know, I want to identify as a sex. They're not saying, people were never saying that they were that sex. Like, I've never checked, you know, no one's ever actually came out and said that. I understand that it wasn't an issue until recently. But that's because Biden made it an issue when he signed that executive order and making it legal for men to compete in women's sports. You're right, it wasn't an issue until that happened. You know, I don't know what this person thinks they can do. I know that there have been videos of trans women saying that they want to get a uterus, and then they want to be able to give birth. I have no idea how they think they can do it. I don't know. Dylan Mulvaney, yeah, I have it on my video where he's like, I want to be a mom one day. And I'm like, if he can be a mom, can I be a billionaire? I'm just asking, guys. I'm just asking. I'll have to go inside for a momentary. This person could adopt a child, but at the same time, they're still not, like, here's the problem why a lot of people have problems with transgenders, the movement. I'll take my hat off because I'm inside. They have a problem with the transgender movement. My phone's dying, that's why I'm inside, by the way, is because they're not just asking people to, call them he or she or whatever. They're asking people to change language, to change how 90-something% of people view the world. Yes, this person could adopt, and, you know, I'm sure the child would have a good life with this person's type of money they make. If they make the type of money that I think they make. But at the same time, what they're asking people to do is change how. That's the crazy thing, though. That's the crazy thing, though. That's what's so insane. Yes, they are. But it's not your mundane average trans person that's the problem. It's those people, it's the people who, it's the fringe crazy people. It's the people who go on camera and demand to use the women's restroom when they've got a full ass beard and their hairline is receding to the back of their head. Like, it's not average day people or people who are trans that could totally, you would never know they were trans. Well, I am, you know, if this person's doing a damn good job, because at the end of the day, they're doing a damn good job at doing that. But that's the crazy thing, The Last Outlaw, is that they are the minority. But like, which is the most insane thing, to be like, to make a rule, an executive order based on like 1% of the population, and then to make everybody else uncomfortable around them. It's crazy. They literally, like, for example, this happened 2 years ago, maybe last year, 2024, where Planet Fitness literally kicked a woman out of Planet Fitness for, like, for telling them that there's a man in the women's restroom or in the women's locker room. And they picked the man's side. I think that there's going to be a lot of like issues that happen as a result of all this stuff. Personally, I think that like if like I like it's bad enough that they it's a wild world. It is a wild world. I think that there's a lot of people that don't get that, like, this is this, so like, the outrage, like, I'm kind of trying to get back to, to what the Last Outlaw was talking about, is that there was outrage, but it was just from the conservative side. And then even people who were considered liberal got upset about it too. Because, like, you don't mess with people's kids. There are schools that allow, if they allow teenagers to take hormones on the parents' dime, on their insurance, they don't even know that's happening, and they get a bill all of a sudden. So, like, I mean, I'm not a parent, but I could only imagine how pissed off I would be if my kid came there with with medicine that I didn't want them to take, that is life-changing. I can't imagine, how they must be dealing with that, It's crazy that people find that acceptable. Also, there's just the reason why this is a big issue is because it started affecting more than just life. It affected everyday life, is, if I can boil that down. It started affecting like everyday life. Like, you couldn't escape it. And so people started taking notice of it. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. Look it up. In the state of California, and I believe Oregon, and I believe a few other states, if I'm wrong, if I'm wrong, let me know. Like I said, you can go into like a hormonal, like those treatment facilities or whatever, and you can literally get a bottle of testosterone. You don't even get a checkout. Now, I hope what you're saying is true now, but anyway, there's a lot of like, but we got into this conversation, and I hope that that's not true. And it depends on actually what state they're in too, because like I know that they're like you can look it up. I believe so. In California and other states, you don't need parents' consent at a certain age, like 15. I could be wrong, um, but that's what I've heard. And like, but if it is going on, it's illegal because children can't really consent to a lot of the stuff that they're doing. So I do know that like there are states that are still like trying to defy Trump and say, no, we're not going to. We're going to allow transgender women to be in sports still, and that's insane. Um, you know, and also one of the other issues that I have is that the so like when people are like justifying why illegal immigrants should be still be allowed to come to go through the border, they're saying, well, who's going to pick the fruit? Well, why is it that you want, why is it that you would, if you actually care about these people, the people who are crossing the border illegally, why wouldn't you tell them, hey, you should do this the right way? Like you should do the procedure the right way. Because why would you want them to go through this whole journey traveling through multiple countries to get to here? And you know, it's dangerous to get here, and they use the cartel. And I've seen videos of babies being dropped over the wall. I've seen like there was a border patrol officer who drowned trying to save an illegal immigrant who was crossing here illegally. So like, you know, there's been so many instances where it's like that shouldn't have happened. Why is it, and I don't hate people who are immigrants. I think that like you should come here the right way. Well, they are because they want these things to stop. And it's also it you know, like when 100,000 people can cross the border. I'm not saying I don't think it's 100,000 in a day, but I think it's in a month. I think like especially like in the hotter months, like that happened a lot during the Biden administration. But like I'm just saying like those type of things happened a lot. Where people got hurt. And if you can choose between, if you have the power to choose whether someone gets hurt or whether someone doesn't, wouldn't you want to make sure they don't get hurt? Kind of makes more sense to prevent that from happening. And I don't think so. When you say dramatize, like the media doesn't dramatize the border because all they have to do is fly a drone over the southern border and you could see people just pouring in here like a broken faucet. That part isn't dramatized. You could literally see it on camera, and videos don't lie. But some things are dramatized, some things probably aren't. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Now I can kind of see where they were coming from. I don't think it's okay. I think they do need parental consent and a prescription for hormone therapy. I think that like I don't I think there's just a lot of unknowns about the hormone therapy things. I think there's a lot of unknowns. And I know that like all medication comes with a cost or whatever, but I think that there's just so many unknowns. How can you like how can you not like, how can you want to I'm not sure about that. An illusion of power and control. Um I mean, there are people who do have power, and then there's people who have power have control, but like maybe, I'm not sure. I think that and going back to your question, Space Frog, I think that people do need therapy a lot of the times. Like I feel like now I don't know if this is true or not, and I kind of don't want to agree with it because I have autism. I have autism spectrum disorder, and I wouldn't trans myself. I wouldn't want to be trans. Um, I guess there's some study out there that shows that people who are trans are autism who have autism, but I'm just like, but I just don't think that that's I don't know if that's true or not, really. I think they do need parental consent though, like because at the end of the day, like who's footing the like it's not the kid that's footing the bill. It's not the school that's footing the bill. It's the parents that are footing the bill or the insurance that's footing the bill. And I feel like if it's the if the if the parents are footing the bill for something, they could totally sue the school. And you could argue that they might be able to win because I don't because like they're going behind their back and they're basically stealing money out of their pockets um, without their knowledge. This has been a pretty good conversation. I've enjoyed this so far. This is great. I enjoy having conversations even if I don't agree with people. I just love talking to people about disagreements and listening. Thank you. I think the way like division is going to be solved is by having more conversations with people. It's you don't just shut people out and hope that you're going to change their mind. If anything, you've just solidified that you've just proven to them that oh, they can't even have a conversation with me. But they're the reasonable one. Like I try having conversations with people who are Democrats, and they some of them most of them I succeed. Some of them, we don't agree. I don't end up convincing them, but that's not the point. Right, yeah. I agree with that. I mean, like, even if you don't agree with somebody, I think that there's something to be learned from talking to somebody you don't agree with. There's something to be gained. I just don't agree that there's that I don't agree with like how people handle disagreements. They just want to go over to their corner and they want to just be like, oh, this person was so unreasonable. And sometimes people are unreasonable. I don't think that they aren't unreasonable. I think that there's a lot of times that people are unreasonable on both sides of the aisle. I think that like for example the the like what's going on right now with the Democrats, like in the beginning when Doge was just doing an audit. That's what they do, is an audit. Yeah, I think though at the same time, like I feel like why people are letting extremes pull us apart is because like these aren't just like, I don't like pizza and you do. It's like, I think the border needs to be under control. No, I think we should just let people come in willy-nilly. I'm not saying that they say that, but like, who's gonna pick the fruit is what I've heard Democrats say. And it's like, so you want people to come here illegally so that so they're not getting paid minimum wage because they're not here legally. They're not here legally and they're getting paid under the table. So you're cool with someone getting paid under the table and, treated like a second class citizen. Then, like, like, wouldn't you want them to be treated like, wouldn't you want them to be able to have all the benefits that an American citizen has? They're not going to probably get that. Mexicans, it's not just Mexicans that come here, though. Right, I get that part. Absolutely. The reason why I say people is because we don't know what countries they come from. I know that a lot of people come from El Salvador, Mexico, some people come from China. So like, and then some people fly over the border. Not like, directly over the border, but they go on a plane, and they just don't come back to their country. Yeah, I know that. Well, Hungary, the state or country, not sorry, it's state. Hungary, the country, is next to a lot of other countries. They have a wall around the country that's having people sneak into the border. They solve their problem like that. Oh. Oh. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying, because it's mostly Mexicans, and then you're like, well, it's right next to us. And that does make sense. I just don't think, well, I mean, when you have other, especially like people who come a long ways, like travel all the way from wherever country they're from, like they travel by foot most of the time, I believe. And then like, there's assaults that happen and there's bad things that happen. And then you know, they come here And, you know, Biden, in the Biden administration, they lost, like, I can't name the number of kids, I'm sorry. But it was a lot, it was a big number of people they lost. Well, you can say that all you want to about the border, but they had cameras on the border for 4 years. They've had cameras on the border for 4 years. They were interviewing people on the border for 4 years. Congress people have been to the border on camera multiple times within the past 4 years, mainly conservatives, because this is a Democrat thing that's been happening. That's what I've been saying. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. A lot of them are from, like, you know, like he's saying that they're from, mainly from Mexico, which some of them might be. But it's mainly, because, like, in, I forgot which year it was in, but they were saying that, like, I think that's El Salvador, isn't it? The MS-13 is El Salvador, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it's the one that there's, is that the guy that, like, was a gang member or whatever, that the Democrats are going over there to visit and, like, treating him like he's some innocent person? Didn't he murder somebody? Didn't he, like, kill people in America? Why is it that people sneak across the why is it that certain people sneak across the border and then they murder Americans? Hi. I'm not saying that everybody who sneaks across the border illegally is trying to do that, but, like, there are some people that do that. You would think if you were here illegally, you would just be low key and trying to just, like, you know, start over or whatever. I mean, if I was sneaking into a country legally, the last thing I would do would be trying to, no, Yeah. Well, and I feel like the people who are doing that, they should try to work a deal out with Trump. They should they should take the money from Trump, which is what he's saying they're gonna give him money to get back to their country, and then they'll work a deal out where they can become citizens. And I think they should do that. They should take the money, go back to their country, and then, figure it out. I honestly think that the people who are like, even though I'm not for illegal immigration, I think that there are people here who are just trying to start over. And I don't blame them for, if like Biden has opened the door like a brothel house, who wouldn't come here illegally? You would be a chump if you came here the right way, man. You'd be stupid if you came here the right way. Especially since a lot of people say it takes freaking 10 years to... I don't know if it's a setup or not. I mean, if it is, I mean, it's a good setup, but... It's a pretty smart setup if it's a setup. I guess I would fall into that setup, but, well, Trump didn't exploit them, number one, and then number two, they came here illegally under the Biden administration. Trump said that he would deport them. Now, because like thousands of people have come in here, it's literally impossible to deport everybody. And I think that it's kind of a twofold. I think that like the dreamers should be allowed to stay here. They should get citizenship because most of the dreamers are children whenever they come into the border illegally. It's a madhouse in here. Probably. Oh, you mean on the live stream? Yeah, probably. Wouldn't have it any other way. Well, I'm gonna go. It was nice